Title: Prove to me that you are who you say you are. Motivational story. Foot. David Goggins. Opening hook: The air was cold that morning. Frost clung to the window, and the room smelled faintly of sweat and defeat. Jason sat on the edge of his bed, his heart pounding, not from a workout, but from the crushing weight of failure. His hands trembled as he stared at the email glowing on his phone screen. We regret to inform you, he had been rejected again. Another dream, another door slammed shut. And for the first time in his life, Jason whispered to himself, maybe I'm just not who I thought I was. That's when he heard it, a voice from a video that had once changed his life. David Goggins. You say you're disciplined. You say you're hungry. But talk means nothing. Prove it to me. Prove to yourself that you are who you say you are. Something ignited inside Jason. A spark. A dare. A challenge from the universe itself. The fall before the rise. Jason wasn't born into greatness. He wasn't the best athlete, the smartest student, or the most confident man. He was the quiet one, the one who hid behind excuses. I'm tired. I'll start tomorrow. I'm not like them. He had dreams once, to join the military, to become someone people respected, but life had worn him down. When he failed the Navy fitness test 3 times, he convinced himself it was fate. He gave up and started drifting through life, working a job he hated, surrounded by people who complained more than they dreamed, but deep down, a voice kept whispering. You're meant for more. Every morning he'd wake up, look in the mirror, and see the same men making the same promises. Tomorrow I'll change. But tomorrow never came, until that rejection email broke something in him. Or maybe it finally woke him up. The challenge begins. That night, Jason put on his worn-out sneakers and stepped outside. The cold slapped him in the face, but for once, he didn't care. He started running. No music. No phone. Just the sound of his own breath and the question echoing in his mind, who am I, really? He ran until his lungs burned, until his legs screamed, until he collapsed on the pavement gasping for air. He wanted to stop. Every part of him begged to quit. But then that voice returned, Goggins' voice. Nobody cares how you feel. Get up and finish what you started. So he did. That night wasn't about running. It was about reclaiming his soul. The man who quit was dying, and a new one was being born. The pain of transformation. Over the next few months, Jason's life became a war zone. His alarm rang at 4 a.m. every morning. He'd run before sunrise, study fitness manuals after work, and push through exhaustion until his body felt like it was breaking. But the hardest battles weren't physical, they were mental. Every time he looked in the mirror, the voice of doubt returned. You'll fail again. You're not good enough. Those words echoed in his mind louder than any motivational speech. But this time, Jason didn't run from the pain, he ran with it. He learned to embrace the suffering, to see pain not as punishment but as proof. Proof that he was changing. Proof that he was fighting back. The moment of truth. 6 months later, Jason stood again at the Navy recruitment center. The same walls, the same officers, but not the same men. He wasn't the broken version who once stood there full of excuses. He was hardened now. Scarred, but stronger. As he lined up for the test, one of the instructors smirked. Back again, huh? You really think this time will be different? Jason didn't answer. He just smiled slightly and whispered under his breath, watch me. The test began. Push-ups. Sit-ups. The run. The pain returned like an old enemy, but this time, he welcomed it. Every drop of sweat was a declaration. Every step screamed, I'm still here. When he crossed the finish line, he didn't collapse. He didn't cry. He simply stood tall, staring into the horizon as the instructor nodded and said, congratulations, son. You made it. The aftermath, becoming who you say you are. Jason didn't celebrate with a party or a post on social media. He walked home quietly, breathing in the cold air, thinking of all the nights he nearly gave up. He realized something powerful. It was never about the Navy. It was about proving to himself that he could become the person he promised to be. You see, life doesn't reward those who talk about what they'll do. Life rewards those who fight when no one's watching. The proof isn't in the words, it's in the sweat, the scars, the discipline. Closing message. Inspired by Goggins, Jason learned the truth that Goggins always preaches: when you think you're done, you're only at 40%. We all have another 60% locked inside us, waiting to be unleashed. The question is, will you prove to yourself that you are who you say you are, because in the end, it's not about being perfect. It's about being relentless. It's about looking yourself in the mirror every day and saying, I don't quit. I don't back down. I'm not done yet. So next time life knocks you down, remember Jason. Remember Goggins. And remember this truth: pain doesn't define you. How you rise from it does. Now it's your turn. Prove to me that you are who you say you are. Would you like me to now make white heavy checkmark a full SEO package, title, description, hashtags, tags, and viral keywords for YouTube, white heavy checkmark plus AI photo prompts for each paragraph, and thumbnail concept,